So here is just one of the studies that to dovetail on what we were just talking about earlier, right?
Right.
Look at this chart. This is a study that I participated in with this company called Velocify, right? I provided them with 6 months of call data, call recordings, call tracking from law firm intake, right?
Right.
We looked at 3.5 million leads from over 400 companies. Okay. And this is the end result. And this has stayed true since this study was completed. Speed to lead is the number one factor in converting more leads. If you talk to a lead in a matter of minutes, you have almost a 400% chance of converting that lead into a signed client. If you wait just 24 hours, Cameron, you're only going to convert 17%.
Hey, that number's familiar.
That's how dramatic, right?
That number's familiar.
Right?
When we were talking about those leads, right? In the qualified leads.
100%.
What their actual close rate is.
You're right on. You remember. I like it.
Interesting.
So speed to lead is the number one factor in converting more leads. That's why John Smith Law Firm down the street from you is doing $3 million a month and you're only doing $300,000 a year. Right. He's just got better processes. The first law firm to the trough is the one that's probably going to eat. Not the better law firm. The firm that has the best processes in place is going to 9 times out of 10 sign up more clients than you are. So this is why when I was talking earlier about how I ask, hey, Adam, your leads stink. How long does it take you to call a lead back? Most law firm owners tell me 24 to 48 hours. Looking at this chart, if you're waiting 24 hours, you're already swimming in a very, very shallow pool. All the good leads go first.
Wow. And I think when people say that a day, it takes about a day. I think people think that's good.
They do think it's good.
They think it's good. We call them back in a day.
They do think it's good.
It's horrible.
It's awful. And it's 400%. Really, it's not 24 to 48 hours, Cameron. It's 3.6 days.
Wow.
It's 3.6 days. Here's another stat that'll freak you out. 30% of all leads in the legal space never receive a return phone call.
Really?
30% never get a return phone call.
Wow.
Again, I've secret shopped 3,000 law firms. I've left detailed voicemail messages about I was sitting at a red light in Anaheim waiting to turn left into Disneyland. I was rear-ended by a FedEx truck. I give distinct detail. Rear-ended by a FedEx truck. Broke my leg. I had 3 passengers in the car who were all injured. The FedEx driver was cited for texting and driving. Call me back. I've done this hundreds of times.
You did that?
Yeah, those are voicemail messages that I've left.
A voicemail?
Hundreds of times.
How long did it take him to call you back on that voicemail?
30% never called me back.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm no lawyer, but that sounds like a hell of a case.
Right? You got deep pockets, liability,
negligence,
multiple party, right? Four people in a car.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I've done that. I've secret shopped 3,000 law firms.
Now, do you think those law firms, do you think the owners, the lawyers are actually aware that those calls are being dropped?
No.
What do you think their reaction would be if they actually knew?
Well, I'll give you a great story.
Yeah.
I was working for a personal injury law firm in Colorado, big firm.
Mm-hmm.
They had a team of 6 paralegals that were doing intake for them. They felt that was the best process. Okay. Now, if you're using paralegals in your firm to do intake, I would immediately stop today. And here's why. Paralegals view new clients, and God bless them, paralegals are the lifeblood of a law firm in a lot of cases. They're the heart and soul.
Right.
They do a lot of the work. My wife's paralegal was the maid of honor in our wedding. That's how close they are, right?
Yeah.
So the point is that paralegals view new clients as more work. They have no skin in the game. So if they sign up 10 or 20 new clients, they just think, I'm just going to get more work next month.
Interesting.
So never have a paralegal do intake.
Even if you have them set for bonuses based on intake?
I've tried all sorts of systems. They just haven't worked.
It just doesn't work.
Paralegals don't have the skill set. A lot of times they hate intake. They hate new clients.
Mm-hmm.
It takes them away from their work. It's the same theory as why you shouldn't have lawyers do intake. Right? Paralegals do a
Right.
lot of the work that lawyers do,
Yeah.
except go to court. So if you take them away from their work, they're billable hour people, generally speaking. You're taking money off the table by having revenue generating people doing intake.
Right.
Okay. So I was working in this criminal defense firm that had 6 paralegals doing intake.
Mm-hmm.
When the phone would ring on the intake line, right? Literally, the paralegals would dive under their desks to avoid taking those phone calls. They hated it. Okay. So the law firm owner gave us access to the voicemail system. So the rollover process was they had 6 paralegals that would do intake. If nobody answered, it would roll into a voicemail. Okay.
Right.
So we dove into the voicemail system, right?
Right.
There were 6 months worth of voicemails on this law firm's voicemail system. 6 months. Hundreds of voicemail messages.
Wow.
People that had broken bones, that had been injured in an accident. And some people had even called 3 or 4 times. They were referrals.
Wow. And they were all just swept under the rug.
Swept under the rug. Law firm owner had no idea.
That's insane.
Like I said, there's 3 things going on in a law firm,
Mhm.
right? The owner always assumes that the staff has their best interest at heart. And I'm here to tell law firm owner, no one loves your baby more than you do.
Right.
Right?
What was his reaction to that? Ballistic?
Smoke out of his ears, red face. Seriously. True story. When we shared this data with him, he stopped, walked out of the room, said, I'll be right back. I mean, he literally almost exploded.
Wow.
Walked out of the room, came back in, and said, what are we going to do about this? And we said, look, your paralegals are great, but we need to get them out of intake immediately. So we created a whole intake team.
Wow.
The problem went
And
away.
that's where this comes in.
Problem went away.
Love it.
Yep. So anyways, great story,
Cool.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, and not only that, we played the recordings, some of the recordings for him from these desperate people,
Mm-hmm.
which we really wanted to turn up the
Probably
temperature.
break your heart
Yeah.
too.
Keeps you up
Right.
at night. If you're a business owner, like
Yeah.
my staff doesn't love my baby as much as I do, they don't. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, Gary Vee has a really interesting way of saying this. He goes, a lot of business owners expect people to be as their employees to be as invested as they are.
You're right.
Fact of the matter is they're not.
No.
They're just not.
No.
And there's no way you can get them to. And on the occasion, you'll find a gem that's,
Mhm.
fantastic. And that's your go-to. That's fine. But they didn't put the money in.
Nope.
You pay them, but somebody else can pay them too.
Right.
So how do you maximize their potential while
Right.
still having that?
Your best is to be a great boss, give them great incentive programs,
Yeah.
have a culture that makes them want to come in every day,
Mm-hmm.
where they know that they've got a career path, right? Those sorts of things make a huge difference.
Right.
It's about culture, right? What did Herb Kelleher say, who was the CEO of and founder of Southwest Airlines?
I don't know. What did he say?
Culture is what happens when no one is looking.
Love that. I've heard that before. That's amazing.
That's
Yep.
Herb Kelleher from CEO of Southwest Airlines. Culture. And culture, again, some other people have sort of morphed off of that. Culture trumps strategy
Mm-hmm.
is what some people say,
Right.
right? And so creating a great environment for your people, you can get them as close to loving your baby as much as you can. As long as they're type A personalities and are passionate about what they do and helping your clients,
Mm-hmm.
that's a win in my book. That's what this course teaches people.
Love it.
Yep. So quiz time. We talked about it earlier. How long does it take for the average law firm to call a prospect back?
Adam, what is 3.6 days?
Nicely done. Answer is, you're correct.